Welcome. We're a little bit after 3. We'll call the meeting to order. Regular meeting of council, Monday, December 1st, 2025. This meeting is being streamed live through the St. Clair Township website. By attending a public meeting of council, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded and published to the Township website. Anyone who is invited to speak will be recorded, and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream and public record. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together as treaty people, we have shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Declaration of pecuniary interest. If anybody has, you can say it now or wait for the appropriate time. So we have some deputations, but we'll carry on with our meeting till then. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on November 17th, 25 be received and approved. Do we have a mover? Councilor Foster. Second. Councilor Myers. Anybody have any questions on this? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Heritage St. Clair Committee meeting held on September 17th, 25 be accepted and approved. Mover for this, Councilor Brown. Second. Deputy Mayor. Anybody have any questions on this? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council accept the following items of correspondence as per council's direction. Brigden Bike Park request and 6.2 Seacan storage for the antique fire trucks. We have a mover. We accept the report. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Second. Councilor Brown. All those in favor? Carried. I think this is supposed to be, got a typo there. Not a typo. Yep. All right, so a motion be it resolved that the request to develop a bike park in Brigden be received and filed. We have a mover. Councilor Foster, second. Deputy Mayor. Anybody have anything on this? All those in favor? Carried. All right, so we need a motion for the request for the sea cans at the Corunna Fire Hall. Chief, do you have room in your budget for this?
Yes, Your Worship, I can find the funds.
Very good. It's a good idea. It's a good spot to have it. All right, Councilor Foster.
Thank you. Through the mayor, I would like to make a motion to support the 7,600 for the sea cans.
Awesome. Second by Councilor Myers. Any questions? Go ahead.
I got one when I read this. My screen was froze. If we're gonna purchase these 2 sea cans, is there any business in the industrial park that I'm thinking of that one building that had the solar panels on? Did we have access to that to store anything inside that building? Because it was basically, I think somebody's moved in there, but they're not utilizing the whole facility.
Question for
Mayor,
you, John.
it's a privately owned building. Obviously, we could see whether or not you could rent or lease a portion of it, but it's not a municipal building. That's
A little handier in the backyard there, too.
Yeah, I guess it's up to the firefighters that are working on restoration and how often they need to pull them out. Obviously, you need them kept indoors during.
Probably give you a little more room for, add a few more things too, if you had to, I would think.
Yeah. Okay, I just offering if there was other venues that could accommodate that.
Okay. Sure, come on up. Just push the little disc at the bottom till the red light comes on. There you go.
We have searched several areas for indoor storage, warm storage, and probably for a couple of years now, and everything is pricey. We really have not found an economical way besides this way to store them, and they're close by. So we're kind of down into a time frame now because the new truck is coming like in 3 to 4 weeks, whatever. So we could address that down the road, but I would really appreciate it if we could go through this avenue first for now, and then and go from there, right? While I'm here, does anybody have any more questions on the project and the situation of, it's the 2 trucks that we're moving right now too, because the 53 has always been in the hall. The LaFrance, we started restoring it in 2016, and we just got it back from R&M Restoration. So that's now why we need a roof over its head now, because a lot of money has been put into it now. And they sit side by side in the hall, if you've seen, and it's really crammed in the hall right now.
Yeah, it's getting pretty tight in there.
Yeah, yeah.
If that's suitable to you to do it that way, it would be a,
For now, anyway, if it's, say, we have looked everywhere we could for now. You want to add anything, Craig?
Yeah, I'd just like to maybe give you a little bit of history about the project, if you don't know. I joined the fire department in Corona in 1984. At that point, that truck was in the museum. It was purchased by the stipends that the fire department used to get back in the early days. And it was the truck itself. I've done the research on it. When Sarnia came out of horses, they bought a truck in 1921. That's the one that's in Michigan Road Fire Hall. In 24, they bought a ladder truck. The 25 that we have is their 3rd truck. So from my standpoint, it's very important for Lambton County history. And we own it now, and we're restoring it and everything else. So the C-can storage part of it is basically when they get a new truck in, they need to train on it. So those trucks need to get out of the hall to give them storage and everything for that. As we will move it from the C-can back and forth as we do work on it, or as space is needed in the hall. So, but we have a lot of money and a lot of effort put into it. So we want to make sure that it can be secure and we can continue to have it and finish it up. So anyway, that's part of it. So,
thank you.
okay, thanks.
All right, let's call a question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks. All right, seeing as it's about 3:10, it's a deputation, delegation, vote tech. Okay. Hi, Gabriel, are you there?
Do you hear me? I'm very sorry, Mayor. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you. Can you hear us?
Okay, excellent.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, I hear you very well. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
All right, so I will share my screen. 1 second. Oops, I don't have the functionality activated to share the screen. I'm very sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for providing me the opportunity to talk about our project. So last time we came before your owners to present the project we have at St. Clair Township. We're presenting two projects. One was a battery and energy storage project, which is 195 megawatt. And the second project is gas technology power plant, which was for 250 megawatt. We presented the project to the council, and as part of the discussion, we were to make a presentation to the resident as well, so we can hear and listen to their concern. We did that. We met the resident. We were extremely pleased to see the good interaction which occurred between our team and the resident of St. Clair. The residents were very enthusiastic about the project. The project is going to create significant economic opportunity for the community in terms of job, in terms of business for the local, in terms of even because of the power and the energy available, we create other business opportunity for the region. So for that reason, the reason we're very happy about the fact that we considering and we want to do the project there. So obviously, like anything else, the reason has some questions just to clarify things, and we discussed with them about different questions they had. Most of them, if not every of them, were essentially requests for information about the project. So I put in this slide the different information requests we receive. So for example, where's the batteries coming from? So it will be through a procurement, which will be done during the project after the ISO awarded us the contract. They ask about the duration of the capacity. So the answer is by the ISO standard is 8 hours. A question was about the capacity, how we come up about the capacity. So essentially, it's about the reason for the 195 megawatt for the BESS is because the availability of the breaker, the circuit available. There were a question about the number of battery. Depending, technology is evolving, but this type of scale of project, usually, we estimate that we have about 270 containers there, which will occupy about 10 acres of land. So then resident asked question about the availability of hydrogen, because they would like to see the region is, I think it's a hub for hydrogen as per the government of Ontario. So there's a lot of enthusiasm about making St. Clair a hydrogen hub. So there were questions about that. So we had a question, will we have hydrogen now? So that's something we're exploring, but we don't want to tie these different projects together because each of these projects have their own complexity. So because we're dealing with the power plant, we prefer at this point to just talk about the power plant, not so much about the hydrogen. So it's something we're considering, do a hydrogen plant there in that location as well. But we prefer to first address the energy plant, the electricity plant, and then eventually at the right time, the right moment, we will be discussing about the hydrogen plant. So there were questions about the carbon emission and things like that nature. So what we discuss with the resident is the fact that once the hydrogen become widely adopted, we're gonna make sure that the equipment here is ready to use hydrogen. Hydrogen is a very effective way to negate emission. So that's our commitment, to make sure that, well, for the gas power plant, we use hydrogen ready equipment so we can comply with any emission regulatory requirement. So there were questions about safety. So we will, especially for the power, the battery. So what we say to the resident is that, well, we'll comply to every regulation there for battery. We'll comply with the different rules, the fires, you know, the space we need to provide to the fire trucks. We're gonna have discussion with the fire department. We're gonna work on training with the fire department. We're gonna have planning together in collaboration with the fire department. So it's something which will be well taken care of by the different preventive action that we'll take. The battery energy storage is a very major technology, which is happening across North America and across Ontario in different other regions. There were questions about the fact that there were already several other power plants in the region. And there were residents asking us, well, if we have other power plant providing energy, who will provide the power first? So basically that's something with ISO. We have no say on that, so ISO will make the determination based on their own criteria. We'll build the plant, make sure that it's viable, and ISO will make that determination. So there were questions about whether the battery and energy storage and the gas project are different projects. Yes, they are different projects. They will connect essentially on different circuit. So they are two different projects. So having discussed with the community is very happy with the fact that we're gonna do this project, doing that together. We want to reassure the community that we're there to build an asset, grow in the community, make more economic development in the community with the different energy project we'll do. The region is probably the best region for this type of project and for other energy type of project. So the fact that we're going to build power will provide us more flexibility for even more additional project in the future. But to provide some meat to the community in terms of showing our commitment, we want to make sure, we want to publicly commit that, well, we're gonna provide the project if we are awarded the contract by the ISO. We will provide $1,000 per megawatt approved by ISO to the community each year. So that's something available to the community. It would be available to the community to do even more development and show our commitment to the community. As part of the plan, the site plan approval process and the building permit approval process. We will prepare the commissioning plan, which will deal with what we're going to do after 20 years, because the contract with ISO is a 20-year contract. So typically for those projects, what you can do, you can refurbish the equipment, you can apply for other contract with ISO, or if there is no contract and there is no economic viability for this, the worst case scenario is the commissioning. So we will prepare the commissioning plan as part of the site plan approval that the CP will make available for the city council to approve. Like I said earlier, we will commit to fire standard. Our equipment will comply with the most stringent fire regulation, and we in all time collaborate with the fire department in the planning and the construction of the project. The project is in St. Clair, so it's in the corner of Bickford and Greenfield. So in terms of the next step for us, essentially, the last meeting we submit our package. We respectfully submit to the council to please approve the municipal support resolution for both projects, the municipal confirmation letter for the battery energy storage for 195 megawatt, and for the municipal confirmation letter for the gas power plant, 250 megawatt. So we are now inviting you to provide the question, if any.
Thank you, Gabriel. I was glad to see you had the community open house last week. I was kind of disappointed only 6 showed up, but you did your part, and I appreciate that a lot. Does council have any questions right now?
I have one for the fire chief.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one for Chief Boyce. Every time I hear about these batteries, all you hear about is fires. Are we prepared, do we feel prepared to have something like this in the township?
Your worship, through the deputy mayor, at this time I can't comment on it because I don't know the impact of the site, the spacing. 10 acres is a significant site, the number of units. So till we see what the layout is, what the water supply requirements are, whether it's municipal water, whether or not it's tanker water, and whether we need equipment. So at this point, for me to put support behind it, I can't. I would have to see the standards at site plan, and then if they meet all of our requirements and we're sufficiently pleased with that as the authority having jurisdiction, we could approve it. But till this time, I can't give any positive comments to it.
I have a few more questions for him at the end too, so.
Through your worship, we're not supposed to talk about hydrogen right now. Down the road, that may be a potential at this site, I understand. Would Gabriel be forced to come back to council and discuss that, so he may or may not have, potential negative impact on any other future growth in the area with the hydrogen aspect of this plant being available? Would he have to come back to us for approval on that?
I'll defer to.
Yes, through council, he's asking only for a municipal support resolution for the gas-fired generating plant and the BESS. He's not asked for anything with respect to hydrogen. If in fact there's another ISO, projects out there, then he would have to come back to council for another municipal support resolution.
Are these containers that would be in, are they taxable? Or is it like an open? I really don't know to it.
Through Mr. Mayor, I'd ask maybe the treasurer if he could respond to that. My understanding is that they're not, but I'm not sure.
George?
Through the mayor, It would be my understanding that would be just the cement pads, I'm assuming, because everything else is removable. But I could be wrong, but I can run it through MPAC and just find out the actual answer.
I would appreciate that.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to deny support. Based on, I didn't feel the presentation, we were prepared enough. I hadn't even heard about your company before 2 weeks ago when you came. And I don't believe you did your due diligence to even contact the staff and the fire chief. Although I think we are going to need the battery storage, but just with the presentation, I can't back.
Okay, was that a motion? Seconder?
I'll support the motion with the comment that, you know, before we fathom a project of such nature, we need to know what kind of roads retainer we're talking about, what kind of positive financial impact you may have on the community. None of that's been discussed or brought up or we've been made aware of. We haven't been made aware of. So we need to know what kind of impact you're gonna have on our roads carrying 172 C cans of lithium-ion batteries in the municipality. We need to be able to look our chief in the eye and trust that he has every tool known to mankind to make the people feel at rest. Yeah, I'll second your motion.
Okay, we have a motion, so we can discuss it now. Gabrielle, I just want to ask you to consider a memorandum of understanding that commits you to a community benefit agreement, other safeguards protecting the citizens and infrastructure of our municipality. If you would agree to work with staff in the coming with the terms of an MOU, and as we discussed with the emergency services, and because it really didn't come in writing anything this time.
Yes, Mayor, I commit that we will do all those steps to make sure that the community is completely at ease. At this stage here, we're just asking the municipal support to be able to continue the prosecution of the project, and part of the prosecution of the project will include all those steps, including a discussion with the city staff, discussion with the fire department, work together with all the regulatory authority to make sure that we comply and we make a project completely safe. And in terms of the community benefit, we can, as part of the MOU, we can definitely commit in writing in the MOU that will provide $1,000 per megawatt approved by ISO to the community. We can put that in writing in the MOU, absolutely.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yep. It was a meeting ago. We mentioned that $1,000 per megawatt over 25 years would be horrible business. Nobody here invests, over 20 years with no potential gain. Inflation, as a prime example, should be budgeted into this, or even a renegotiation after every 5 years. Like I said, hydro's going up, everything's going up, and you're asking us to lock in at a bare minimum for 20 years. It's not sustainable. That's why we've talked about a community relief fund, financial support to the fire department, and at least a roads retainer to ensure that we're not going to be a burden on the taxpayers.
Is that it?
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, by providing this letter of support, we're not totally committing the township to this project, are we? Like, we could still, if we don't get what you asked for, if the fire chief isn't satisfied, we should still be able to turn this down. I hate to turn it down at this point, but.
Clerk, Mr. Clerk. I'll defer to you, or John, whatever.
Well, I mean, in essence, what ISO is asking for municipalities to support these projects, otherwise they're not going to approve them. So this is their way. They can't get off the ground without the municipal support. Without the municipal support, their application is going to be turned down by ISO. There are still hurdles from our standpoint in terms of them entering into a site plan agreement and a municipal benefits agreement, those kinds of things. I suppose if council is not satisfied and turns those down, they turn them down. But normally, as you know now, under site plan, these site plans are normally approved by staff, not by council. That has been delegated. So there's actually very little municipal council involvement once you give this resolution.
Go ahead.
Through your worship, I believe this site is 4,000 feet from the closest home, and I looked it up, it's got to be at least. You can't ask for a better location for a project of this matter. You also can't ask for a poor point to get to this point. This is a great location for this kind of development. We just got to feel better about the commitment we're making for 15,000 plus residents. I don't feel it right now.
May I suggest something? We can part of the MOU. We can be clear about the commitment right now, and we can even have a clause in the MOU to renegotiate the benefit after 5 years, like you suggested. So the community can get support there. And
So you still have time. We have another meeting, the 18th. So you still have more time before you need to send it to the IE. Would you guys like to defer it until the next meeting?
the ISO, may I suggest something? The ISO deadline is the 18th.
Yeah, we meet on the, what is it? The 15th. So you still have time. You guys good with that?
The challenge with waiting to the 15th is that be so close to the deadline. It put us in an extremely challenging position. I mean, we can have an approval where we formally confirm that we will come back to the council to get approval of the site plan, for example. Can make it conditional to that. So it will be a way for the council to keep an eyesight on the development of the project.
Go ahead.
Through your worship, we did not put us in this position. You put us in this position. Tour Energy came to us with a 500 megawatt facility plan like 8 months ago, it seems like. We did not put us in this position. By us turning this down today, you can always still negotiate with staff. Like previously mentioned, this is a fantastic facility to develop. You can still negotiate with staff and come back to us and need a 2/3 vote to overturn this decision.
So what we need to be negotiated exactly? Just want to make sure that I get the point.
That's what I say. If we defer this off, you'll have time to discuss with our staff, right? And come up with what they know what we want. And you'll be able to discuss with them and come up with something good. So,
Okay, perfect.
does council want to
That's
do
fine.
that?
Through the mayor, through the mayor, I would not like to defer this. I put the motion forward because I was not comfortable with your preparation. Like respectfully, my councillor Langstaff, who has seconded the motion, has said, Atura, we've had, talking, and even Enbridge, when they talked with us, they contacted the fire department. Even in your initial consultation with us, you were referring to Sarnia. I don't feel you were very prepared speaking to us. I hadn't spoken with the fire chief, and it's a lot to back up the 15,000 residents, and just, I'm not comfortable with this, so I am not making an amendment to it.
Okay. Deputy Mayor.
I'll make a motion to defer because I really don't want to lose this. I agree with Councillor Langstaff that there couldn't be a better place for this to be located. So if we can satisfy everybody here I don't want to see this project stop. So we can defer it for another 2 weeks and try to get some agreement here.
Okay, we'll have to vote on the first motion first. Go ahead. All right, call the question. Everybody remember what that motion was? It's been a while. To deny. Okay, all those in favor of that? 1, 2, opposed? 1, 2, 3, motion lost. Deputy Mayor, did you want to make another motion then?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to defer this to the next meeting, at which point a decision will be made.
Okay. Seconder, Councilor Brown, any questions on this? So Gabriel, you good with that? You'll have to get right on it and open up discussions with our staff, okay?
Okay, Mayor, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, our clerk will contact you tomorrow. All right.
Perfect.
All in favor of this motion? Hang on. All in favor? 3, carried. Okay, what was that, sir?
I know there is someone who's scheduled to speak about the project. May I ask the opportunity to be able to hear what the group would have to say?
Yeah. Public meeting, you can hear it. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, a little bit over 3:20, but Emily Hunter from Environmental Defense Canada re-VOTEX proposal. Emily?
Oh, it's Mike Marcolongo speaking for Emily.
Okay, hi, Mike. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So quick introduction. Good afternoon, Mayor, Councillor, and staff. My name is Mike Marcolongo. I'm an Associate Director with Environmental Defense Canada. We are a national not-for-profit working across Ontario to advance clean, reliable, and affordable energy solutions. I appreciate the opportunity to speak this afternoon about the proposed 250 megawatt natural gas generation plant. I will focus my comments on the gas project only. Before I speak specifically to this gas plant proposed by VOTEX, I want to provide brief context on the provincial process that is driving these applications, the IESO's long-term to procurement. And also, as it relates to the previous speaker, I also want to emphasize this is window one of a 4-year process. I noticed you did vote in favor of deferring to your next council meeting. However, there will be 3 more intakes in the next 3 years. The next one being about a year from now. I will just state that the LT2 process is already oversubscribed with gas at this point in time, especially in this region. Our tracking shows that the LT2 window was initially expected to procure only 600 megawatts of gas and battery storage across the entire province. Instead, over 1,800 megawatts of new gas projects alone have already received municipal support or are seeking it, triple what was expected. And we're seeing double that amount for battery storage across Ontario. Southwestern Ontario, including Lambton County and your township, is already saturated with gas proposals, and many communities are raising concerns about the cumulative impacts. This means St. Clair Township does not need to feel pressure to accept an oversupply of gas projects. The province already has far more gas proposals than it planned for, and council is well within its rights to decline contributing further to that oversupply. As a township, you also carry a significant industrial and pollution burden. Your municipality, as you know, is one of the most industrialized in Ontario. Residents live alongside petrochemical facilities, pipelines, compressor stations, and long-standing air quality concerns. Adding a new 250 megawatt gas-fired power plant to the landscape means more nitrogen oxides, which worsen asthma and respiratory illness, more particulate matter linked to heart disease and hospitalizations, more greenhouse gases at a time when both Canada and Ontario must rapidly reduce emissions. The proponent is suggesting this plant is a low carbon option. It is not. Gas plants are among the largest sources of electricity sector emissions. Calling it low carbon is misleading. And let's face it, hydrogen ready is a marketing term. There is no plant at this point in time that is employing and using hydrogen. The project would increase St. Clair's cumulative pollution load, not reduce it. A new gas plant also exposes residents and ratepayers to long-term financial risk. The proponent described this project as efficient and quote unquote reliable, but across Ontario, electricity planners now warn that new gas plants will become more expensive as fuel costs fluctuate. Higher risk assets that could face limited operating hours or expensive retrofits. Gas is no longer the cheap option. And we saw that in the ELT1 procurement as well. In fact, gas generation is now one of the most expensive ways to add new electricity to Ontario's grid, especially compared to modern clean energy technologies. A 250 megawatt gas plant risks becoming a stranded, underutilized asset with a cost ultimately borne by businesses and households, including those in your township. The company that's proposing this gas plant has also demonstrated a lack of transparency for a project of this scale. During your previous council meetings, several concerns were raised. The proponent couldn't name comparable projects they have delivered in Ontario. Their documents still refer to the municipality as quote unquote Sarnia, not St. Clair. They claim residents are extremely happy with the project, yet councillors reported no notice of any public meeting. They push for an urgent approval to meet their private deadline for the use of procurement. These are huge red flags. A project this size with decades of impact requires far more transparency, clarity, and demonstrated capability. Council was right to ask for feedback first, and it is notable that the proponent has stretched this process to the last minute, then asked council to expedite the decision. The promised community benefits are vague and unsubstantiated as well. The proponent suggested the gas plant will bring jobs, revenue, economic development. The construction jobs, for the most part, are temporary. Gas plants create very few permanent positions. Councillors also asked explicitly about a community benefit agreement, and none was offered. And no financial specifics were provided, not even a range. Given the long-term health costs and climate risks, unclear economic benefits should not be considered sufficient justification here. Finally, I'd like to speak to the cumulative impacts and long-term alignment. St. Clair Township is not a blank slate. Residents already live with major industrial activity and ongoing emissions. Council must weigh cumulative air impacts, long-term financial exposure. A 250 megawatt gas plant goes in the opposite direction. It locks the township into higher emissions, higher risk, and higher costs for decades. I would also ask council members not to take the decision to endorse gas-fired generation lightly. I've noticed how little to no discussion has taken place at previous council meetings for similar municipal endorsements for these projects. In fact, there was no talk of the impacts of gas fire generation emissions on residents and your communities in the last for the last two endorsements. As you know, a 2019 study published by the journal Cancer found that the northern part of Sarnia and Point Edward has acute myeloid leukemia rates 3 times the Canadian average. Also, a 2017 Global News investigation noted that benzene, a known carcinogen linked to leukemia, was consistently higher than regulated limits in the Chemical Valley. I will remind you that benzene is a component of natural gas, which, as you know, is used to power those gas-fired turbines. In essence, by endorsing gas-fired generation in your community, you are increasing a known carcinogen from being emitted in your community and increasing the risk of certain cancers, including leukemia. On behalf of Environmental Defence Canada, I urge Council to decline to issue a municipal support resolution for the 250 megawatt natural gas plant. This is the most protective choice for local air quality, public health, and long-term affordability. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Council, have any questions? Councilor Brown.
I believe the previous VOTEC presentation was only asking for the approval of his battery storage, no? Was for a gas plant included? Okay. Okay.
Through you, your worship, to Councillor Brown, that's my understanding as well.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next one, Skyline Energy, best proposal. How are you doing? Good. So press the little disc on the bottom. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Mayor, council members, staff, thank you for having me here today. I'm here today as an update to the St. Clair 1 battery energy storage site we're proposing at 459 Polymore Road. Just wanted to give a quick recap of our November 3rd meeting where we presented about this project and in council deferred the MSR decision and asked Skyline Energy to work closely with staff and the fire department to address certain open issues. Some of those issues were clarification on St. Clair 1 versus St. Clair 2. A reminder, St. Clair 1's 18 megawatt site connected at the distribution feeder. St. Clair 2 was a 180 megawatt site connected into the transmission lines behind the property there. We are not moving ahead with St. Clair 2 at this time until we are able to deal with passing under the CN rail line and the time that took. Just didn't feel we were prepared to move ahead and really just seeking the MSR for St. Clair 1, which is the 18 megawatt site. We clarified that intent with staff as well as documented that understanding in the MOU. In addition to that, we worked with the fire department to ensure that the department is fully informed and comfortable with the approach. So we met there, documented those commitments in the memorandum of understanding. We also went through steps to validate the acoustic study in the area that was provided through our consultant, SLR Consulting. So there was a peer review conducted at Skyline's expense, and those findings are documented in the memorandum of understanding and received a positive peer review report. In addition to that, we met with all local businesses on Polymore Drive. We identified 26 businesses in the area. We reached out directly to each one of those. In the cases where it was tenants, we asked them to forward that on to their landlords. We did have discussions with a number of those that was all very positive, including even, offering services through construction phase if successful. And then finally, we're asked to put a list of comparable projects in locations or in similar locations, which we have provided. A little bit more detail on each one of those. So with respect to St. Clair 1 versus St. Clair 2, what's outlined in the MOU is that council does have full discretion to approve or deny St. Clair 2 if and when Skyline comes back to ask for that. So we are only looking for St. Clair 1. If the MSR does not supersede any of the planning approval process, we still would require site-specific zoning bylaw amendment and the site plan approval. In our application, and this is all stated in the MOU, for the St. Clair 1 must include a master site plan, which shows how the future St. Clair 2 project would be compatible. So things like site access and everything would have to be planned and determined prior to the St. Clair 1 project moving forward, just so that if St. Clair 1 happens and St. Clair 2 were to then happen, if we'd have to change a bunch of things and we would sort of compromise the site plan for St. Clair 1. Also outlined a more detailed commissioning plan and have a letter that supports the community benefit that Skyline will be providing as part of this project. Key points with respect to the fire standard is the equipment's to comply with all legislative requirements, both now and their successors, whichever is more restrictive. The site plan is to comply with all legislative requirements, including NFPA 855, whatever is more restrictive, meet all additional requirements of the fire department, and collaborate with the fire department on emergency response planning and training. Beyond the acoustic analysis, the key points in the MOU are that we must meet the NPC 300 standards, which is 45 decibels at residential lands and 70 decibels on Polymore Road in the industrial area. we must provide the pre-construction acoustic report and the post-construction acoustic audit as part of that. And this is all, will be reviewed, peer-reviewed at Skyline's expense. In the initial conclusion of the peer-reviewed report, the phase 1 of the battery energy storage project is capable of meeting these guidelines, and the project appears viable at this location, and no issues were identified that would prevent the development from proceeding to the next planning stage. I touched briefly on the public engagement, 26 businesses. We had 5 respond directly. They appreciated the early communication. 1 offered services, and there was really no concerns raised as part of that when we did reach out to each one of the business on Polymore Drive. In terms of other battery energy storage projects, we looked at some comparable Ontario projects. There's a 15 megawatt project in the Windsor Industrial Park called Walker Battery Energy Storage. And there's actually a 20 megawatt behind the meter project on Imperial Oil in Sarnia there as well. So in summary, here today asking for municipal support resolution for St. Clair 1, and that the accompanied MOU be entered into as well that we've worked with staff to create. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. I'm sorry, I missed the Imperial Oil. Which one is in there? How big?
That's a 20 megawatt site.
20.
Yeah, so very similar to the 18.
Thank you. I appreciate you going through all the process that we've had here too in the last while. I know a lot of time has been spent either way, and I just appreciate all that. Council have any questions? Councilor?
Through the mayor, will you be purchasing this land or leasing it?
That's still to be determined with the landlord. They're open to both options right now, in really, giving them the option whether it will be leased or purchased, and we're sort of waiting to see how this progresses before a firm commitment.
Yep.
So I guess my follow-up question would be for George Lozon. If they're not going to purchase this land and trigger a reassessment through impact, what is, in your mind, the net positive for the township to benefit off it? Is it my understanding we're looking at $18,000 a year?
Through the mayor, I'm not quite sure, but I will contact MPAC and find out what we'll get for those kind of
The clerk
battery.
can answer that one, George. Thank you.
Yeah, so MPAC picks up on building permits as well, so there'll be foundation permits involved here, so they'll be alerted to this development regardless of lease or purchase.
Any more? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Matt, thank you for the presentation. It was very informative. That's great. I know you've already done this for staff. You've identified why the threshold was cut off at 18 and then the rest. It sparked a little bit of interest, certainly for us. And I think there's a benefit if you can go through as to why that is, the capacity issue that you brought up to staff. I think there's some value in that.
Absolutely, yes. So we looked at, there's a transmission line behind the site and a distribution line in front. We looked at the capacity on the distribution line as well and sized that system appropriately for that distribution line that doesn't go through those larger transmission highways, so to speak. So it was designed in a footprint that worked on that site that could connect into the distribution lines, which is more critical to areas like this where local distribution systems and like the Lambton TS that would be connected into are starting to run into capacity issues. That's not necessarily what's happening here, but down the road we are seeing that across municipalities where a distribution connected system actually does have help out in the local area with their energy resources.
More? Anybody else? Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, Chief, are you familiar with this site?
Your worship to the deputy mayor, somewhat. We have met with Skyline. We've talked about the standards. We've talked about the requirements we'll need, and it will all rest on the site plan application and what they do. And as he said, if they meet all of our requirements and we're sufficiently satisfied that it's safe, we'll approve it.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Through your worship, and I don't know if this question's for Matt or for staff, did you mention your continuing MOU chats?
Jeff, feel free to jump in here too. We've sort of settled on a form of the MOU that included all the details I spoke about today and us committing to that. So yes, we've signed off on that and given a final form of where the MOU sits. And should council approve and decide to move ahead with the municipal support resolution, that will be part of that as well.
I guess my follow-up, and respectfully, if you don't have a remark, that's fine, Matthew. I know we all have our own business structures and spreadsheets of it ourselves, but I can't get behind this without at least a 25% increase every 5 years going forward.
If that's what's sort of contingent on that, I can commit to that, absolutely.
Okay. Good with that, Jeff?
And just to be clear, that's on the $1,000 a year, just to be clear. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Councilor Brown?
On this particular site selection, which is on the west of our Polymar Road, was there any properties available, or did you look at, say, the east side, which would be closer to the Highway 40 side of how that Polymar Road loops around, other than the fact that you've got where the transmission lines currently run? I know you mentioned that if your second phase goes through, you'd have to probably do something around the CNR rail, right?
Yes, and no, we did limit our search to that area that was closer to the transmission lines, just for the, we didn't have to go through easements or walking through other people's properties to get there. So we did prioritize that specific location because of the proximity to the transmission lines. The CN is definitely a complication there, but it's there's a path forward there to avoid that. It just takes time.
So this application, I just want to understand this myself, is for the 18 megawatt portion only.
That's correct.
And how many units does that ballpark would that consist of?
Sorry, 1 second there. I don't want to misspeak for you there, Councillor.
And how many, I guess, second question is, what was the St. Clair 2? How many megawatts was it?
180 for St. Clair 2. It'd be 18 megawatts. It would be roughly about 30 to 40 shipping containers, 40-foot shipping containers.
Now, if that's in container form, that is a tax revenue, right? That's like a building.
I'm not sure of that, Mayor. I apologize. I know, as we spoke of earlier, what we'll be doing is putting sort of a gravel pad with some concrete pads and placing the battery containers. Because they are removed, I don't know if it is considered a fixture on the site or how that's treated from the tax department.
George, check into that with the impact with your connections. Thank you. Just one more question. I'm really intrigued that these are going into a refinery. Is that, do you hear of that a lot? That refineries are taking battery storage, the same type in there?
I think that's really just because of the land that's available. I'm not familiar with too many of those projects like you. I've heard of that. I can't speak to that much more. I'm curious to find out more about that as well.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Deputy Mayor.
I'll make a motion to provide a letter of support.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councilor Brown? Any more questions? I'll call the question. So be it resolved that the township endorses the 18 megawatt BESS proposal submitted by Skyline Energy for their site located at 459 Polymore Drive in advance of the LT2 intake issued by the IESO with a deadline date of December 18th, 2025. So all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, opposed? 1, 2, carried. Okay, thank you, Matthew. So we're a little bit behind here, but Darlene and Andrew Meyer, Lambton County Sommer Library update. Looks like a county meeting seeing you guys here.
Good afternoon, Your Worship, Mayor Agar, members of Township Council. Thanks for having us back to provide a status update on this project. We don't have a presentation for you, but we'll refer you to your package materials. Just to provide a bit of context and recap, you'll recall that when the childcare operation vacated the Sombra Library, we approached this council to hold that space with the intention that the library could grow into the 5,000 square foot building that's owned by the township. We could enhance library service delivery, increase the collection size, double the hours, and increase staffing support as well. How that would be possible would be the proposed consolidation with Port Lambton. And we brought that to this council on July 19th, and were asked to consult further with the community. And so we will have two updates for you today. We're going to summarize the findings of that town hall session that occurred on October the 1st, and also provide just a high-level update on the costing and design of the renovated space at Sombra. So just to walk through first the findings of the town hall session led by Brian Boyle and Associates, I'll ask Darlene to recap that for council.
Thanks, Andrew. You'll find the full report in your council package today, but just generally on October 1st, this fall, we held a town hall style meeting at the Port Lambton Memorial Hall. There were 53 people in attendance, and we additionally received feedback from 81 people via a survey that we had sent out electronically. Just over half, so 56% of those who responded to us, either in person, physically at the meeting, or by survey, indicated that their place of residence was Port Lambton. In that report that is in your package, you'll see that we had a great discussion that night. I recognize lots of faces here from people who came in attendance to watch that meeting go forward. And participants generally acknowledged that there were many benefits to an enlarged Sombra library, and that included the ability to have different types or additional programs and services, enhanced space, larger collection, and ability to access more technology, increased hours of operation, and improved community profile. So there was general acknowledgement across the board that an enhancement at Sarnia would result in an enhancement of library service. However, participants also acknowledged a number of challenges should the closure of Port Lambton Library continue, and those challenges included a lack of transportation for the distance between both of those sites, the community perception of a closure, the availability of funding to enlarge the Sombra Library location, the community's general resistance to change, and a decline in service to Port Lambton. When asked to consider the areas of focus, the highest rated answer fit the theme of investing in the future. So there was a general acknowledgement to be thinking about being forward-looking and investing in the future. However, close behind that were the comments about pursuing alternative services to ensure that Port Lambton was still served with library services, and considering new opportunities there, and as well considering or identifying sources of funding. We did provide some architectural drawings that evening of concept plans for an enlarged Sombra library, which Andrew will speak to soon. And since that time and since that meeting, we have received more information about the cost that would be incurred to expand an enhanced Sombra library, but we continue to work through identifying alternative funding sources, which Andrew will speak to shortly as well. So I'll ask Andrew to speak to the architectural design, the costing that we have to date, and perhaps some next steps ahead of us in terms of finding funding opportunities and pursuing alternative service delivery at Port Lambton.
Thanks, Darlene. So yeah, the two sort of marching orders we had as of July were to undertake the town hall session. The second was to proceed with phase one. So phase one was we need to get a design of that space and a costing to support informed decision-making. The floor plans that we presented to you back in July were just simply in-house concepts, and we needed to refine those. So the county engaged at its cost 1721 architects out of London to undertake a review of that space. What has changed since those initial floor plans that you saw in July There was a consideration to make the facility completely accessible. So previously, there were still some elevated portions in the old council chambers where the library is currently located, as well as a vestibule on the east side to, if that becomes the main accessible entrance, to prevent sort of wind exposure into the building. Other than that, the scope of the work is very similar to what was presented in July. It's quite significant. It involves an older building with some abatement work that is required, flooring, lighting, so it's quite a significant scope. The Class D cost estimate that the architect provided a proposed scope of work at a total value of $740,000. When you add on to that a contingency as well as some escalation room for escalation cost, it would be $920,000. So a significant capital investment is required to make that space suitable as a community hub library. That does not account for the county's costs in terms of new shelving and increased collection, ongoing operating for staffing and cleaning. We estimate the capital cost of the county to be over $250,000 plus the ongoing operating costs. So considering those pieces and considering the feedback that we received at the town hall session, we feel that we need a bit more time to identify funding sources. So we can appreciate that the township is in the midst of its budget process. The county is in the midst of its budget process. It would be prudent for us to step away, know that this is ultimately the goal, but we need to identify non-tax funding to support it and come back to this body with some recommendations. We also need time to look at the feedback from the community hall and determine how could we continue to deliver service to Port Lambton. What might that look like? Would it be outreach programming? Would it be a small venue to be able to collect books from? So how could we continue to satisfy the residents who did raise their hands with concern about the idea of a closure of their library? So that's our recommendation, is not that we make recommendations to this body, but just in terms of where we're at and the status update that we hope to provide to county council in the new year would be to say, if we could have the year to look for funding sources, come back to this body in anticipation of 2027 budget deliberations with a finalized plan and costing for the project.
So that was pretty well over $1 million budgetary then, right?
Between the two parties, yes.
Yeah. That went up a lot from initial. Anybody have questions? Go ahead, Counselor.
Worship, thank you, Andrew and Debbie, for going through that town hall meeting in Port Lambton that a few of us requested. Just a comment on one of your comments, Andrew, respectfully. I understood, like a lot of people in the room that day, unfortunately, I wasn't able to break away from work to attend, and I'm deeply apologetic for that. But a lot of people thought it was already decided, and that's the feedback I got, is that they showed up there with they thought that the decision was already made to close Port Lambton, and you guys were presenting a new project in Port Lambton or in Sombra. You just noted that is the goal, and we got to take some time to figure that out. Respectfully, that's not necessarily been decided yet. Not everyone believes that is the goal, and respectfully, I just wanted to put that on the record. Thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Through the mayor, can I just ask the accessibility deadline? Do we have a deadline for that? Are all buildings to be accessible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Andrew probably knows this better than me, but at one time during COVID, they did ask that all buildings there was a deadline. They've since backed off that deadline, and it's only under retrofits scenarios now, or new builds.
Go ahead.
Through the mayor, thank you. I really appreciate the town hall meeting. I know it was well-received. And I would like to make a motion that the report from the County of Lambton in relation to the proposed consolidation of Port Lambton and Sombra libraries be received for information, that a decision to consent to the closure of Port Lambton Library to allow the township to work with the County of Lambton to consider the community feedback received from the town hall session be deferred, to allow time to identify options and costs for the continued library service delivery to Port Lambton, that the township staff be directed to work with the County of Lambton to pursue third-party funding opportunities to support the proposed capital renovation to the Somber Library to mitigate the impact to the local taxpayer. That the township and staff report back to council on items B and C above, together with the funding and financial plan, including identification of any third-party funding, if available, for further instructions and direction in anticipation of the 2027 budget deliberations.
So are you picking all 4 motions?
The motion of the D, that it be,
Right?
yep.
Okay. So that's a motion, the seconder? Counselor? Okay. Anybody questions? Counselor Brown?
Yeah, that's basically what is presented before us, and I appreciate the county's work on this, and I think if we can get funding from other sources, that would be great. That I think we're going down the right road, so thank you.
Still, as we talked about many times, if this does end up happening, I do not want to see Port Lambton closed off. They have to have a way to get books too, so I'm glad to see you're working on that part. Thank you. All right, thanks. Oh, I didn't call the question. Okay, all those in favor? Carried.
Seconded, no?
Thank you.
Oh.
Thanks, it was down here.
Thank you.
I'm glad I checked. All right. St. Clair Fire Department, Community Connect, first due burn permits. Sure. As long as you have no weapons or anything, Steve.
Demonstration.
A demonstration.
Gonna burn this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
While Deputy Bickham is giving this out, an overview for council is, you'll recall you approved the first due software or migration to consolidate a number of programs. And Deputy Bickham has been working on that for now just about a year. And we're getting out of the building phase and into the implementation phase. But one of the important parts is this, is it's changing the burn permit process. So that would take effect on January 1st. So Deputy Bickham is here, along with the Executive Officer, Owen Ingalls, to show you what the people will see. There's a portion called Community Connect, which we have to go in to do. So the deputy will explain all of this, but that's the background.
Thank you.
Yes, as mentioned, we're moving forward with our first due. This is the Community Connect site. So this is the public-facing portion of that software. So we wanted to come to you with a presentation just to have you informed as to what that is before we roll this out to the public. As mentioned, what's driving this is the switch from the burn permit process. Currently, it is an online process through a website. People that are in the eligible areas can go online, create an account, and they get a permit for a period of 1 year that ends on December 31st. The day of the burn, they would call in a number. It's an automated system to say that they're burning on that day. It would allow us, it would send us an alert that, so we are notified of that process. What is being proposed with the first due system, the Community Connect system, is very similar to that. We did find that a lot of people would apply for the permit, and it would be approved when they apply for it, but they would miss the portion of that they were supposed to call the phone number the day that they did the burn. They just say, oh, I got a permit and it's good all year. The new system in Community Connect requires them to go online within a window of 4 days, or we can set that at council's discretion, to apply for a permit, get approval for that permit. It's good for the 4 days currently, and they can go ahead and do that burn then. If they need to apply for another one, they can apply for another one. So they don't apply once, they apply for every permit. And again, that will alert us, and through our system, it puts up a flag for that. If you direct your view to the screens, this is the public-facing site. This is the actual site. If Owen scrolls down, so there's lots of information there as far as the background behind this Community Connect. I need to add this caveat that The reason we're bringing this forward now is because the burn permit system is linked into this Community Connect, which is a much larger program than just burn permits. So if we go back to the top there, Owen. So the process is that they will select a resident or business owner. Residents are single-family dwellings, essentially. Business owners are anything commercial or agricultural where they have more than one property. And that's a big distinction that we have to make through our education outreach. So if we click on to the business owner, and once Owen gets into that, so they can create the account if they don't have one. If they have created the account, they'll just log in like any other system. So what we've created here is a dummy account, a demonstration account for this. So Community Connect, as I said, is a much larger process. We can look at, this is a outreach from us as the fire department to the community to allow them to participate in the emergency response. If I scroll right to the bottom there for burn permits, to speak to that first, the process of applying for a burn permit once they get into the site is simply click on apply for burn permit, fill out the pertinent information, make whatever request for whatever type of burn permit, and then it goes into the approval process. It's an automated approval at this time unless given other direction. It alerts us. We have a list that will appear for us that we can manage those permits to see who has completed permits, who's requesting permits, and that sort of thing. That's the extent. That permit's good, as I said, for 4 days right now. We can extend that, we can shorten that as to whatever council would like to have for that. They can do this online. I know we've had many citizens have come to us and said, I don't have an email, I don't want to do this online. They can still call the office and we can do that for this process for them. And they can call in. And that's why we've talked about having a period of 4 days for a permit. So if somebody wants to burn on the weekend, they can call the office on the Friday, receive approval, and go ahead with their burns. That is the extent of the process for burn permits. Again, the reason we want to bring this forward because this is now opening up the rest of Community Connect to the community. So if you scroll to the top there, Owen. This is, as I said, outreach to the community or to the fire department. I will state at the beginning of this, all of this information is bank level encrypted and secured. Their information is protected and it is not available to anyone other than those of us that are authorized to look at that. This information becomes available to responders if we get a call for service to that address. So in this case, we have 392 Lindock, which is our office, as the site. If we get a call to 392 Lindock, this information that I'll cover here in a second is available to the firefighting response crew on the way to that call in the apparatus. So it's simply a case of my information or my info, so just the background, who are you, little information on addresses. If you had multiple addresses, that would go there. Contact information, so if we arrive and there's no one there, we can make phone calls. Then we get into things like functional needs. So if you have, and this goes beyond businesses, this goes into residential, where if you have someone in your home that has functional needs, needs oxygen, has mobility issues, has to use a wheelchair, anything like that, that you want to disclose, you can enter that information in there. And again, that information is presented to the responders on the way there. That I have an elderly, my mother is on the second floor, she has mobility issues, and she needs an oxygen machine. So the firefighters can have that information ahead of time, so when they arrive on scene, they can deal with that. And again, the information is only available if we are called to that for an emergency. There's a spot there we can add attachments. If people want to upload floor plans, if they want to do pesticide control or pesticide storage issues, anything like that. Any information that they want to give us, they can put it into there. Some additional occupancy information as far as what types of buildings are there, access. If you have a gate code that you want to provide us, rather than us ripping the gate down, we can punch the code in. Makes our lives a lot easier. Hazmat situations, if they have some unusual chemicals there, gasoline storage, we can even put the chemical storage in there. Fire systems, fire alarm systems, again, more for commercial. There's a little bit of difference between residential and commercial, or the business side of that. We've already spoke to burn permits. The smoke alarm program allows residents to request a smoke alarm check, which goes directly to the fire prevention side, to Andrew's side of it. So people can request, hey, can you come in and check my smoke alarm? I think it might be out of date. It's just a process to allow them to contact us directly. We are looking into permits, things like special occasion permits, fireworks permits. Again, just allowing them access that they can go directly to a site and fill out an application for approval. And then they can also do any specific requests for inspections if they want to do that. Again, all of this can be done over the phone as well if they like, but this is an automated system that should save us some time and, again, allows us to reach out to the community and allow them to participate in the process of, and have a stake in their own call for service. Any questions? Oh, sorry. I provided you just with a sampling of some of the information that we can provide to the public.
Any questions?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So who is Community Connect? Are we paying a fee to utilize this software, or?
Through your worship, it is all part of the package that we've already purchased for our records management software, the First Do software that we are utilizing. There's no additional cost.
And so we were enhancing, I guess my only familiarity would be burn permits in the agricultural area.
Correct.
And how many of them do we issue every year?
I don't have the actual number for every year. I know currently we have 650 accounts in that, in the burn permits. So annually, there's at least 650 people that accessed that system in the past.
So I'm trying to rationalize people, if they want to have a backyard fire pit, why they would want to register.
This does not, as far as the burn permits are concerned, that's not part of what we regulate. Backyard campfires are covered under the burn bylaw. This is part of this is connected, the Community Connect system, and the allowing people to provide us with information for their family members and whatnot is an additional part of this. They're all linked together. The burn permits are all part of this.
Have you found other municipalities have got this system in place?
Yes, there are very many. There are quite a few. The town of Minto, the city of Vancouver. There's quite an extensive list of them that I can provide to council if.
I was just wondering locally, like within Lambton County,
Not within Lambton County. We were the only sorry, the city of Sarnia has just purchased into the First Do process.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, guys. Good presentation.
I'm just glad to hear you still call in.
We'll be there for you, sir.
Always. All right, back to our agenda. I don't think we've ever had so many invitations in a night. Tone it down. Okay, be it resolved, the following items be received as information. 7-1, Lambton Group OPP Detachment Board, meeting minutes, August 13th. And 7.2, Lambton Group OPP Detachment Board Meeting Highlights, October 25. Moved by Deputy Mayor, second. Councilor Brown. Any questions? Go ahead.
I had a question for the, what's your question about the golf carts were?
Well, I'll tell you, I get a whole lot of complaints all summer long about golf carts going everywhere, going on the trail, going on the road. And a lot of them are kids driving them in town. And, you know, they can't. And you can't take the golf cart on the road. If they get hit, it's a tragedy waiting to happen. So I just want the OPP, and this has come aboard 2 or 3 times, the OPP to look into it and make sure they're checking on it and talking to the people.
Thank you.
Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. I just noticed from the August 13th minutes to the October 25th, like August, there was about 8 pages, and the other, in October, they only went over highlights. So is it a change in the format?
Well, they have a new commander out there, and he's doing things different a little bit, so
Okay.
it's gonna change a bit.
Yep, okay.
Yep. Did you have something? Okay, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Be it resolved, the 2026 council meeting schedule report submitted by Clerk Jeff Bernick be received, and that the meeting schedule for 26 be approved. Mover for this, Councilor Foster. Second. Councilor Myers, any questions or any complaints about this? Seeing none, all those in favor? I guess you passed, clerk. Be it resolved that the 26 tax due dates report submitted by Treasurer George Lozon be received, and that the deadline dates contained within be approved. Mover for this, Councilor Brown, second. Deputy Mayor, any questions for George on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the vendor invoices and RBC Visa charges report submitted by Treasurer George Lozon be received, and that the included vendor invoices be approved for the period of October 26, 25 to November 22nd, 25, totaling 5,021,118.94, and the RBC Visa charges for period October 16th, 25 to November 17th, 25, be approved, totaling 64,418.09. Do we have a mover for this? Councilor Langstaff, second. Councilor Myers, any questions on this? Go ahead.
I always got one or two.
All right.
Page 3, Bearcon Canada Corp. Surveillance equipment and everything else that was purchased, I guess, a total of $48,448. It's under the fire department account.
Somebody surprised you with that one?
I think so. What was that invoice again, Your Worship?
Oh, the Bearcom Canada Corp. For surveillance equipment that was purchased the end of October, $48,448.
Your Worship, the light bulb went on. That was our emergency management grant that we had with the $50,000 grant. That was the radio communications equipment for the command post. That was the redoing the camera at the back, the headsets inside, so took a second.
That's a good one.
Yes.
So we spent all the grant then, okay, on that, good.
Excess the 50,000. A little bit, not much.
I'll jump to page 10. The one that hit me is there's automotive repair to a Honda Ridgeline 2025 of $2,505. Was that a township vehicle or?
Kendall?
Through the mayor, we had an incident at the campground where I think, believe it was lawnmower through stone and hit a Honda Ridgeline. So we were at fault. So we repaired it.
Thank you.
And I meant to look on page 21, Land Shark Drilling at 1464 St. Clair Parkway. I don't know what that address is, but it was $22,289.
Yeah, through your worship, that was like vertical directional drilling for the wastewater treatment plant expansion for geotechnical investigation.
And I guess I'll ask this one because I marked it down as page 26, precision curb cutting. And I think it was on one of the streets on page 26. Do we pay for the curb cuts if a residence is built and there is no curb cut? Do we provide that?
David?
I can speak to that. That one in particular was a curb cut that was requested by a resident. Actually on our new street that didn't have curbs before in Brigden. And yes, they come in and they pay a fee for that curb cut, which covers our costs that we turn around and pay to Precision.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, that's all.
Good. I have one not on there, but I still see a red van that's about a 1918 version down in our parking lot. I think I pushed on that 2 years ago to sell it. Turn it over to the fire chief to put it on his sale, because he seems to do pretty good on selling stuff on there. So would anybody like to make a motion about this? It's crazy to leave
Did we
city.
get a new hot rod, though?
Yeah, we don't need a hot rod. Huh?
I can use the van.
Yeah, we do still use it, particularly an engineering student in the summertime or to fill in.
Don't
Now
have
we
enough pickups?
Well, the upstairs Civic Center used to use it. They don't use it anymore, so Public Works has been, for the last several years, been using it to fill in the gaps. We do, on that point, though, in the capital budget, we did submit a capital budget sheet for a replacement of that this in 2026. So if we could hold on to it until we can or replace it, or council decides to not accept that, we'll have a better decision.
We'll check into it at a future date then.
Yeah.
But be prepared.
It's a pretty sweet van, though.
No, it's not a sweet van. It was a piece of junk when I first started on council in '06. And it's still out there. Anyways, that's good. Anything else for this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the monthly report submitted by Director of Emergency Services, Fire Chief Richard Boyce, be received as information. Mover? Deputy Mayor, second. Councilor Langstaff, any questions for the chief? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the plumbing station rehabilitation tender results report submitted by Coordinator of Operation or Engineering, Andrew Malpass, be received, and that the tender submitted by Cope Construction and Contracting, Inc. in the amount of $398,701 plus HST be accepted, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the contract and other related documents. Do we have a mover for this? Councilor Foster. Second? Councilor Brown. Any questions for Andrew on this?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
I'm just wondering why it came in so much cheaper than our estimate and cheaper than the other two estimates we got.
Because they traded the van for it.
Through the mayor. A couple of different reasons. So the budget was first set based on the results of the 2022 Queen and Riverside pumping stations. That was peak COVID. So the budget was inflated. I've been holding off on that tender because pumping stations are always cheaper to do in the winter. There's no asphalt or concrete, so construction companies have no work going on, so you wait and have, and then Cope, who's hungry, clearly will bid it to do it in the winter with their foreman. And then just based on my knowledge of the market right now, Burnham is very busy. So I'm not surprised that their number was quite a bit higher than Cope. And I have no idea who BGL is, so.
Thank you. I'm not complaining, believe me.
Yep.
It's very pleasant to see.
Any more for Andrew while he's up here? Thank you, sir.
I have the next report too.
All right. All right, all those in favor? Carried. Pardon? Plumbing station?
Yeah, I said plumbing station.
Who did? You did. Oh, pump. Yeah, I was thinking about the van stuff. Be it resolved that the storm sewer outfall at Corona Pumping Station report submitted by Coordinator of Engineering Andrew Malpass be received, and that the project be included and the approved as part of the 2026 capital budget. We have a mover for this one. Councillor Foster. Second. Councillor Langstaff. Any questions for this one? Councillor Brown.
I'll just highlight the fact that unfortunately, we don't know if we have any grant money coming from the province through either the WIKI or the DAF, but it sounds like it's still possible to get some funding through health and safety water stream.
Do you have an update on that, Andrew?
I do, yes, through the mayor. We received an email on Thursday evening that we were unsuccessful in that fund.
Okay, well, this work has to proceed, as I've highlighted in the past, but also it ties into getting this done. The St. Clair River Trail Committee is anxiously waiting when this work gets completed, that the trail would be extended at that section of waterfront as well.
So if we get some grant money down the road, it can be applied to that too, right?
To fund the trail?
No, to what we're doing here.
Oh, yes, or
The trail has enough money to
or
fund
some
it.
of the other backlog of shoreline projects that we have.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Anybody else? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Andrew. Be it resolved that the monthly report submitted by Director of Community Services Kendall Lindsay be received as information. I'm a mover for this one. Thank you. Councillor Foster, second. Councillor Langstaff. Any questions? Councillor?
Through the mayor, Kendall, what is the holiday drop-in shop? Is there a cost for that? And when is that going to be?
Have to connect with Michelle on this one, but as far as that, she's planned some programming around just parents wanting a place to have the activities for their kids while they can either go shopping, but we've also had some areas where they can drop their kid while they go to swim lessons or if there's something going on in the arena as well. So there's been some interest in it, and that's typically we will try to accommodate if we can. If there's enough interest, then they pay for the service, but there would be a cost for some labor, right? But it's something that was posed to us. There's interest, so we're going to try it out.
Yep.
Another question, the cast iron pipes, I had asked George if we had budgeted for that at the complex that they're failing, and do we have the money there? George said it wasn't in the budget, so just question on that.
Oh, okay. I put it into the 2026. I don't know if he was referring to the 2025. It's not in 2025 budgets, but it's for you. It's in there for 2026.
Thank you.
Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Mayor Egger. My question is the very last page, which shows projects in progress or being coded, active, is the one that caught my attention was the Brigden Community Hall fire deficiencies. It looks like it was a 2022 project, number 37, and I'm just wondering, like, the $50,000, is that was that a 2022 price, or is it today's price? And I got another question once we find out where we're going with that.
Okay. Kendall?
Through the mayor, the price would have been from 2022.
Is it possible then, and I don't know, with Brigden, it's a great community and everything else, and the number of events that are obviously out in that community. Can you give us a summary of the hall rental reports for, Brigden, Wilkesport, and, Port Lambton, just how much use we're seeing out of there? Because I'm curious, with the Brigden Agricultural Society out in Brigden, they host a lot of events in the community, and I'm just wondering how well used the Brigden Community Hall is.
Through the mayor, yes, I can provide information that I have. Up until the last little bit, we didn't have any really information. That was just all to the community halls and hall boards. They did their bookings and everything. But with this new insurance over the last little bit, we have been starting to take over and doing bookings just so we make sure everybody has their insurance. So I would have some data, but I wouldn't have data back like I do for the golf course or the campgrounds or I have data back till we took them over. I don't have data back. I do have it recently, but I would have to look at, and I would have to provide it to you if you wish.
Go ahead.
Question through your worship, also pertaining to the Brigden Community Hall there. We maybe had some abatement stuff going on there. Has that been completed, or is that still awaiting to be done?
I would have to check in with Marcus, but as far as I know with the abatement, we are at various stages in all of our halls. So we wouldn't be complete anywhere. It's like through the stages of what we can tackle when we can tackle it. The allotment of money, I think, was $125,000 per year for the next 5 years, and we're just going to keep rolling through the projects the best we can. But I could provide an update. I can check in with him, and I could provide an update of where we're at with the asbestos.
Through the mayor, this is a question for staff, not for Kendall, but maybe you guys can give some insight. The project for council review that community service provides to us, I find very helpful in understanding where we are financially. I know I have been trying to put forward quarterly reports financially so that when we're making decisions, I know where we're sitting. How do you feel, would it be possible for you to give us a project council review like community service has done? And Brian or Dave and Chris, whoever wants to take that.
Yeah, through the mayor. Typically, I know where I used to be, which was Enbridge. Finance used to give an update on a regular basis in terms of financially where we're at from a capital standpoint as well as an operating standpoint. It's something we can do from a project completion point of view, but finance would have a better sense of the financial figures in terms of the totals. But yeah, from a project point of view, we can definitely summarize that.
Then I would like to make a motion that the departments do provide us with projects for council review, and then that's my motion there. And I will be bringing back to hopefully have my motion lifted from the table. I won't do it at this point because Councillor Langus isn't here, but I'm really looking forward to more transparency with our finances and more education moving forward.
There you got that. That's not the same as the one from before then?
No.
Okay. Okay, do we have a seconder for that? Oh, this one. Okay, sorry. We'll call the question for the Director of Community Services first. All those in favor? Carried. Can you reread that one? Yeah. Yes, please.
Thank you. My motion is to have more transparency and to have each of the staff departments to give us a council report of the projects outstanding like community service has.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that? Counselor Langstaff? Any questions? Go ahead.
Just to clarify, this is for capital expenditures is what you're referring to, I believe,
Yes.
on the status year to date.
Okay, good. Okay, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, opposed? 1, 2. What if I vote?
If you vote to tie it, it's lost.
I'm opposed. Motion lost.
Through the mayor, just so I understand, I thought that your vote if it was a tie, but if we had 3 opposed, 2 against.
You can vote anytime.
I can vote anytime.
Perfect, thank
Yeah.
you. And can I ask?
That's my understanding anyways, we'll get a
No, thank you.
clarity. Okay, all right. Okay, carrying on, bylaws. Be it resolved that the following bylaws receive second and third and final readings and be thereby passed. The mayor and clerk be authorized to execute pertinent agreements. 9.1, bylaw 35 of 25, sewer agreement with Lambton College Fire School. And 9.2, bylaw 44 of 25, confirming. We have a mover for this one. Councillor Brown, second. Councillor Langstaff. Any questions?
I know that's the agreement with Lambton College, and I thought I can't recall where I read it in here, but how often do we review that?
Maybe the fire chief would know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the mayor, this is a brand-new agreement. So we'll be watching their sanitary volumes. That's really the trigger for adjusting the agreement. So yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on what they're distributing to us.
Okay, thank you.
All good, anybody else? All those in favor? Carried. All right, councilors' reports. Start this way. Councilor Myers.
Last Friday, I attended or helped to coordinate and attend the community dance at the Wilkesport Community Center. That's our third one. They seem to be gaining in popularity, and hopefully they keep going that way. Wednesday, I attended the board meeting of the Wilkesport Community Center, and then Saturday attended the Jansen Jingle, which was a fundraiser from Jasper and Jansen's family to fundraise for the Ronald McDonald House. So if anybody has had the opportunity, or hopefully they haven't had the opportunity, but if they have had the opportunity to utilize the Ronald McDonald House, it's a great charity. My family has utilized that service, and I truly understand the benefit and the good that they do. That's it.
Thanks. Thank you, sir. Councilor Langstaff.
Thank you, your worship. I also attended the Wilkesport Community Hall Board meeting, the Sommer Museum meeting, along with the Rec Club Christmas party and Light Up the Park in Sombra. Bickford Line Christmas Parade. And I'd like to commend Jasper and Miranda on their efforts to raise money for the Ronald McDonald House. Fortunately, I've also had the misfortune of dealing with that emotional place, and I appreciate them for working on raising funds. Lastly, I'd like to offer an invite for George Lozon to invite our member of MPACT to council chambers to help us understand why our impact values are staying frozen where they are. I understand we can reach out for reassessments on individuals that have invested into the municipality and have unfortunately received a new assessment of a property while still getting, the misfortune of paying a much higher mill rate. I look forward to urging the Doug Ford government and unfreezing impact values so we can carry on with business, get this mill rate figured out, and promote investment in St. Clair Township.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Brown?
Thank you, Mayor Egger. November 26th, I had a St. Clair River Trail meeting. Actually, it was a dinner meeting at the Parkway Golf Course Restaurant. And November 28th, it was the Christmas party for the Rec Association I attended. And November 29th, participated in the Corunna Santa Claus Parade, and I want to applaud the Moore Optimists. It was well organized and carried out. It was a very cold night, but there was tons of people came out to watch.
Thank you. Councilor Foster?
Thank you. On November 25th, I attended the Girl Guides along with Councillor Langus, and we were, just gave them an insight what we do on council. And they did a great job, actually. One, we gave them some mock lessons, and one of them is if we had expanded the complex and what were their feelings. And the one young girl, she was about 9 years old, and she said, well, if you do that, what about blocking views of people? And I just was blown away on questions on these young ones. But and we did show them pictures of from the Prime Minister to the Premier to the Mayor, and they were able to pick you out. So that was good. Then I attended the Rec Club Christmas party, and I want to give a shout out to the staff. I've had a lot of phone calls this last 2 weeks from constituents, and again, the staff have been nothing but excellent on nothing but, they have been excellent on getting back to me, and appreciate that. And as well, I just finished a 7-week class through the Gene Collective organization, which is for women in politics and leaders, and met with different mayors and councillors throughout our area, not just St. Clair Township, and it was just excellent, so that's it.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. I attended 2 county council meetings, one on the 19th, one on the 26th, which I believe is a meeting to cover December. And I'd like to congratulate the committee for putting on a great Christmas party. The Rec Club did a great job on it. That's it for me.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a very busy time. 2 county council meetings, same as the deputy mayor. I think one was moved up from December into November. I jumped on a Zoom with an info session on the conservation consolidating committee, and I really didn't learn too much of nothing. So hopefully they come up with a better meeting next time. I attended the Seniors Advisory Committee. I went to Welling's Craft Show. Welling's always putting on a good show there for the township. Brigden Volunteer Appreciation Night, which was very well attended. I Zoomed with the Creative County, went to a Laws Board meeting. Rec Club Christmas party, as the deputy mayor says, it was put on great. It was an excellent. I went to the Somber Park tree lighting, which was good down there. It was just a lot of people showed up. The Corunna Santa Claus Parade, tons of people. I went to the Vogue Tech public meeting about their proposal. It was kind of disappointing only to see 6 people attended, and I think 2 of them were Sue and I. Lastly, I've had some questions in the last week about selling 4 cabins at Moortown Campground. We promised a year ago to keep try to keep Moortown open. These cabins needed some maintenance, so a motion was made and passed to sell these and put the money back into the campground. That's the gist of it. And so looking at the overall picture of things, every contribution helps. So maybe little like that or large, it's a an attempt by us to put some money back into it. So that's my story on that one. Upcoming meetings, regular meeting, session 21, December 15th, 25, 6 PM. Regular meeting, session 1, January 12th, 2026, 3 PM. And regular meeting, session 2, February 22nd, 2026 at 3 PM. So at the onset of the meeting, we conducted an in-camera session to hear a deputation related to consultant's report on the IT structure for the township. And we need to make a motion to finish that and go back in camera. So would somebody like to make a motion? Deputy Mayor and Councillor Foster. All those in favor? Carried. Well, thank you all for coming.